Hi Beatle people, welcome back to A Beautiful Life. So the time has come. Paul McCartney's new album, The Boys of Dungeon Lane, is finally here. So in this video, we'll be taking a look at the CD version. I'll talk about the songs a little bit. I'll go through the interviews and performances that Paul has done so far. And as I'm filming this, my picture disc is out for delivery, so it might be in this video, we'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. So last night, I actually went to a Boys of Dungeon Lane listening event at my local record store, so I think I will talk about that a little first. So yes, I was happy that this was at my local store. I never had a chance to attend something like this before, and I would say there was about 30 other fans there, but the store is supposed to post a picture. If it's up in time, I'll put it in the video. So they of course played the whole album for us while everyone was kind of shopping around the store at the same time, and we each got this set of postcards. I'll show you these closer in just a second. They also had a special silver vinyl version available to purchase, which I did not because I already got the picture disc. But if you purchase the album in any form, you got a Dungeon Lane tote bag, and there was also a giveaway of a Paul lithograph, which was this same picture that comes with the CD booklet. I did not win that though, but you could enter with like a raffle ticket. And I think hearing the album through the music store's sound system really made me appreciate it even more. I was standing kind of right by one of the speakers, and I had so much energy when I came home from that listening event. It was as if I was at a concert. So I want to show you these postcards now, and these were free, no purchase required. We each got a set. Actually, we each got two because they had so many. But this first one is a picture of Paul, and on the back it has some lyrics to Home to Us. See it there? And it has Paul's old neighborhood as the return address on there. Then this one of Paul has the lyrics to Lost Horizon, or not all the lyrics, I should say a portion of them on the back. Then we have Paul and George with Down South on the back. And then here is Paul with Days We Left Behind on the back. So these were a cool souvenir to get. It was definitely a fun event to attend. It made for like a really special release day. Like I said, I had never gone to something like that. But on that note, let's go ahead and take a look at the CD version. So here, of course, is the album cover, and I wanted to show you, if you go to Paul's social media, I'm on his Instagram right now, you could see a little video of the process of creating the album cover, like the screen printing process. And the artists who worked on this are the same that did that collage as well that you will see in a second. And here is the track list on the back. I thought it was really cool that they used Paul's handwriting. So my favorites right now, and this probably won't be a surprise if you know that I like upbeat music, my favorites are Mountaintop, Ripples in a Pond, and Come Inside. But I think all the songs have their own kind of wow moments. I think after hearing it in the record store, I appreciate it even more. So we'll start by taking a look at this. This is the CD sleeve and has this amazing collage on it. And there's also a video on Paul's Instagram taking a look at that process as well. So it says that this collage was made using over 100 archive images, including unseen photographs from Paul's personal archive. And it is printed by hand using traditional silkscreen techniques. And this collage also appears on the picture disc. And I think if you get the green vinyl version of the album, it's this collage, but with more of a green color scheme. And here, of course, is the CD. So then we have the lyric booklet that comes with the CD, and Paul's handwritten lyrics for each song are inside. So I'll be talking a bit about the songs next. I think I'll switch back to my other angle. Alright, so I'll briefly go through each song. I would rather you go and watch some of the many interviews that Paul has already done about this album rather than hearing me give you the background, but I will talk a little bit. So it starts with As You Lie There, and this was a very surprising beginning of a song because he started out talking and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but then it kicked in, and I wish I could have captured my reaction to that because I was like, whoa! After Paul had his special listening event for fans last month, there was a Billboard article that came out that shared just a little background on each song, and it mentioned there that As You Lie There was inspired by a neighborhood girl from Liverpool that Paul had a crush on at the time, named Jasmine. And then there is Lost Horizon. This is the one that Paul said that he had written and recorded in the past and didn't remember doing that, but he said the late Eddie Klein, who had worked with him before, found a tape with the song on it. So then Paul decided to remake it for this album. Then, of course, we have the beautiful song Days We Left Behind, the very first one we heard from the album. Ripples in a Pond, definitely one of my favorites. And this one is about Nancy. Paul was actually, it said in the article, singing it directly to her at the listening party. And then we have Mountaintop, which is definitely one of my favorites. It has a lot of wow moments in it, I think. And Paul had said that this was from the perspective of a girl who was at a music festival with her friends. And I made a short video featuring this song that I'm pretty happy with, so you could check that out in my YouTube Shorts tab. And then we have Down South, about the hitchhiking that Paul did as a kid. And he says it was a good way to get to know you before we learned to twist and shout. And then we have We Too, which has an interesting background that Paul talked about, how they used the same tape recorder that the Beatles had used, and they used a technique that they had done. I think it's called bouncing down. It says, current computer technology offers an infinite number of tracks that can be tweaked at any time. But when making Sgt. Pepper, the Beatles had to mix down multiple instruments into one unchangeable track again and again. And the producer, Andrew Watts, said, we really used the process that he used in the Beatles 100%, down to a final edit, cutting the tape with a razor blade. Then we have Come Inside, which is definitely another favorite. There's a really cool lyric video for this up on Paul's YouTube channel. Some really cool visuals. This is definitely a rocker. That's what Paul called it. And then next we have Never Know. And this is one that I think came to life more when I heard it through the better sound system. But Paul had said to Billboard about this one, I was out in California. I've always loved that Laurel Canyon vibe of the 70s. I was playing guitar trying to get that vibe. This is me trying to do that. So I had to look up what he meant by Laurel Canyon, and it turns out that was the center of the counterculture music scene at that time. So that's the vibe he's trying to capture. And then, of course, we have Home to Us, Paul and Ringo's duet. And I would really like to see a music video for this, either a music video or a performance. And Paul talked about the background story of this in a few interviews too. And then next we have Life Can Be Hard, and you would think by this song's title that it was going to be sad, but it actually has a positive message. And Paul said that this brought back happy memories for him because he was sitting around with Nancy and her family with a new baby in Nancy's family, and he was letting the baby strum the guitar strings. And the song is about, you know, having hope for the future. And Paul has a song, Hope for the Future, as well. And then we have First Star of the Night. This is a very relaxing song, and I think it would have made a good closing song for the album. Paul wrote this when he was in Costa Rica and they were having some rainy weather. He actually says at the beginning of the song, it's raining in Costa Rica. Paul says when he sees the first star of the night in the sky, it always gives him a little hope. And then we have Salesman Saint, which is about Paul's mom and dad. He talks about this story in his Apple Music interview. I would go and check that out. I love the horns in this song. That was really cool to hear last night. Lastly, then we have Mama Gets By, which Paul had stated is not about his parents, but rather is like a made-up story like Lady Madonna was. I think either Salesman Saint or Mama Gets By would be good songs for like a movie or a short film. At least I picture that in my head when I hear them. So I'd like to show you here on Paul's Instagram in this Dungeon Lane highlight. There are the individual credits for each song, and we can see that there are some special features here. So Giles Martin was one of the arrangers for Mama Gets By, as well as Salesman Saint and Life Can Be Hard. In Mountaintop, you could see Nancy has a spoken word credit. She speaks at the end of the song. I cannot make out what she's saying, so if you know, please comment below. And then in Ripples in a Pond, we have Mike Davis from Hot City Horns, who toured with Paul, on the trumpet. The trumpet must be hidden in that song because I don't hear it very prominently. And it wasn't added to this highlight, so I don't see it, but on As You Lie there, it said that Ringo was credited on the tambourine. So lastly, unless my picture disc gets here in time, I just wanted to show you some of the interviews and performances that Paul has done so far and just kind of go through them so you could catch up on them all if you want. So most of these are on YouTube unless I state otherwise. So Paul was on SNL. He performed Days We Left Behind for the first time and also did Help and Drive My Car and Band on the Run. And he was even in a comedy sketch you can see here. This is called Mechanics. So these are all, everything I just mentioned is on SNL's YouTube channel. Then another one is that Paul appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert for its final episode, and he was back in the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York. They had an interview, and then he performed Hello, Goodbye. They had two, I think those were Stephen Colbert's sisters in the audience who had seen Paul in concert when he was in the Beatles. He performed Hello, Goodbye. You could find that video here on the channel. And there's two interview clips as well. This is on the Late Show YouTube channel. And then Paul, well, these aren't in chronological order. I'm just listing them. Paul appeared on The Rest is History. That is on their YouTube channel. And he also appeared on The Rest is Entertainment, which is on their channel. Then he appeared on this YouTube show, which is called Chicken Shop Date. He, of course, did not have actual chicken, being that he's vegetarian. But this is on the host's YouTube channel. You could just find it if you search Paul McCartney Chicken Shop Date. I haven't gotten around to watching this one yet. I heard it's a very fun interview, though. He also had this interview with Apple Music. You could find that on the Apple Music YouTube channel. And this was definitely one of my favorites. You could see he's talking about the pictures there from his childhood. And this definitely had more of like a cozy vibe to it. And then Paul also had this conversation with Paul Mescal, who is the actor who will be portraying him in the Beatles biopics. And this was set in kind of the Dungeon Lane Cafe. I don't know if that's a real place or if it was set up. You could watch this in a number of places. It's on Amazon Music, Amazon Live, and Paul's YouTube channel. Then he also appeared on this BBC Radio 2 program called Tracks of My Years. That's on their YouTube channel, where he talks about 10 songs that defined his life. And then there were a couple print interviews. So this is one from the New York Times. Paul McCartney doesn't need to make music anymore. He just loves to. So that was a good article, I thought. And then there's this one from BBC News. The title mentions playing guitar. Wow, that's a giant advertisement. The title mentions playing guitar with Paul Mescal, but the article really is more about the album. Then there's this one on the NME YouTube channel. I haven't gotten around to watching this one yet, but this is a new interview that just came out a few hours ago. And then lastly, he'll be appearing on the Today Show here in the US, the Sunday version of the Today Show, so that will air sometime tomorrow and will be on YouTube shortly after, I imagine. So those were all the interviews that I think there are. I'm sure inevitably I missed one, or there will be another one out by the time I upload this. But you could go ahead and binge all of those if you'd like. And last but not least, the picture disc is here. I just sprinted downstairs. I was like, it's here, it's here, it's here. So here is the label on that. 7 songs on each side. I originally ordered the green vinyl version, but once they came out with this one, I knew I wanted to get this. Then here is the other side. So I've covered a lot in this video. This might end up being a long one, I don't know. But I do want to say that I really am enjoying Paul's album. And I think it has potential to become my new favorite one, which is currently Egypt Station. And that's saying something because I love Egypt Station to the point that I bought the Traveler's Edition 7 years ago. So please let me know in the comments what your favorite songs are right now from Paul's new album. And I do want to say thank you very much for watching. I always link my other social media accounts in the description if you want to follow me on there. I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.